that. You want to heat up back here so it draws into it. And on all sides. Then what's good to do is to put a little flux on it like that. Try not to burn the crystals off so much. Let it cool for a second. And then if there's going to be a leak, it's going to be on the top because this stuff flows so good. So I always just back the heat up real far. Put a little collar on it. This side, I gotta watch out for the electric lines there, and then the hose here. Hit it with the flux, what it does is if there's any little carbonization happening, it will clean it. A little bit of carbonization will keep it from drip there. Bothers me. Smooth. That's good. That's a good solder joint now. Pull it off. And let's look at it. Now you see, it's really sealed really good. And put that little collar on the top of it so that and if you see this, I didn't burn this, I didn't overheat this. Sometimes you see someone using braising it. That horrifies me when somebody braises these. You see this all black, you know. And I worry about the material's probably okay, and I'm sure it's not that bad, but it horrifies me. Okay, I'm done with this. Okay, that's number 8. Stay right. Good stuff, and stay clean. This combination is what I want to use. That's what I like right there. Nice yellow flux. Okay. Now I want to braise these guys. So I'm going to go up to a bigger torch, and I'm going to use my big, medium large torch guy, and I think a little bit of flux will be good. Get our heat shield going. And I think we're check it. We're good to go. Medium hot flame going. It's good to heat up away from the compressor. Back here, you want to draw the braze rod into it. It's melting in, it's going back there real nice. It's going back there because it's not dripping out the bottom. Turn the heat down. Put a collar on it. Throw up any braze. heat's too high, the braid rod just pulls off. You can't build it. So you want to do a little building on it. The heat is so concentrated on oxygen settling, you'll heat up one spot. You'll heat the whole thing up, but one spot gets heated and you kind of braise it there and you go around. You end up with, some guys will end up with globs around it, you know, and it's, the braised material doesn't flow in. But that's a good way to braise it. You know, once you get the experience behind it. Okay, it's time for our vacuum. We got the dryer on it. Cool this off. Okay, I'm pulling a vacuum on it. Here's the, I'm gonna label this. That label right there. It's a date I changed it. Normally, the compressors come with a 1-year warranty from the factory, and the local supply house will sell an additional 3 years warranty, and I mean 4 years warranty additional, so it's covered for a total of 5 years. But the customer didn't want that; he only wanted the 1-year warranty. So that's okay. That's okay. And I'm pulling a vacuum on it right now, and let's see, we're down. 240 micron, 240 micron, 348 micron, 47. I think that's pretty good. I'll let go a couple more minutes, but I have to do the electrical wiring, get the, I have to install the new plug on it. That's the new plug that goes on the compressor, the 3 pins coming off the compressor, and I have to wire that into the controls here. And I have to put the crankcase heater on it. That's the crankcase heater, goes around the base of the compressor. What happens is in the winter time when it's cold and the compressor shuts off, the refrigerant gas will come over here and condense and dilute the oil. The liquid refrigerant has very poor lubrication. And when you dilute the oil like that, you'll seize up the compressor. So this keeps the body warm, so it won't allow the refrigerant gas to condense in here. It won't let it get cold enough to condense. But we're coming down pretty good on our vacuum. And let's see. Just finishing it all up. Convenient to have my truck right there. I had to walk 3 feet to get my tools out of the truck. That was very convenient. I don't always get this. Usually the compressor's up on a roof halfway across the building. You got to climb down the ladder and go all the way around. gauges into the liquid line. I don't want to put it in too aggressively because it will seize up the compressor. So my suction is 5.8. So I'm just gonna crack it a little bit. See it within here, a little liquid movement. See how you hear the compressor complaining. The compressor didn't like that. Okay, honey. Let's see. We're getting charged, so we got a ways to go yet. Our evaporators, yeah, way too cold. So this should be like 8. The liquid line should be up around 86. Take that metal off the condenser. Somebody else changed these years ago. Let me just stop here. Archaeologists. Gas in there. This is sunglasses. Gas right now. Get enough refrigerant in the system. What's happening right now is the head pressure regulating valve here is swirling. That's bypassing a little bit too much of the hot gas in the low side to keep the head pressure up. Once you get enough gas in the system, it'll close off, stop bypassing, and then you'll start seeing liquid. Yellow was here, the black was here, and the red was over here. And I just tied write them up about contact oil. Now this is the crankcase heater that I was talking about, and I wired it in. It's got a little spring device on it. These two wires go in, and you have to wire them here to the top of the contactor. I was careful that time not to accidentally touch the electric. I did that last time. But these go to the top of the contactor, so they're always on. The contactor lets go, releases, the compressor shuts off, these stay on. They keep a live feed going for them to keep the oil, the crankcase warm. That keeps the refrigerant gas from condensing. So what I did was I moved the charging line from the liquid side over to the gas. I'm putting gas in it now. The liquid is too much pressure in it. It's overwhelming the compressor. Got my suction going into it. So I'll turn this off. The actual suction pressure in the suction line is down around 9. But now I'm putting gas in it. I'm not putting liquid in it. You don't really want to put a lot of liquid into this. You'll just jam up the compressor and bind it up. It's good not to graze the liquid. Solder joints real good. I'm putting gas in here now. That's the safest way to charge the system with gas. And it's going in fairly fast. Now when the suction pressure gets up to the tank pressure, then I'll switch back over to liquid and I'll turn the tank over and I'll leave the liquid into it, because otherwise it's just going to sit there. I think you can tank up and get it in. Take a little while with charging. Okay. Okay, we're getting charged. Getting head pressure up. Suction pressure up. Look over there. The cops are collecting money for their Christmas party, I guess. It was raining before. Now it's a beautiful day. And I'm all done now. Of course, it was raining the whole time I was cleaning the refrigerator. I just have a little bit more to go. Pressure's running good. Getting gas in it. I'm trying to get me a little bit careful here. Cut it back a little bit. Put liquid in it now. But it's doing good. My let's see. Suction. I mean, my liquid line is 99. Probably open. It's meant to open and close a little bit, so I see bubbles. Here's my label for the refrigerant. it's at 32 now, but it's come down to 24 degrees approximately. It's just the box was warm in there, the water cooler, and it's cooling off. So this will eventually get down to 24 degrees. Now, this compressor is rated at 22 high temperature, and it's 45 degree evaporator air conditioning. But of course, we're running the evaporator a little, going to run it a bit colder. So these it's calling for a subcooling of 15, which I got like 7, 8 right now. But I have a full column in the sight glass. See that? That's what I go by. I don't go by subcooling with an refrigeration system like I do with an air conditioning system. Superheat's 27. My suction line returning gas is 60. Here it calls for return gas is 65. Of course, I'm running a colder evaporator, and it'll get down colder than this by the time I get down. But that's 65 at a 45 degree evaporator, and of course I'm running it at a colder evaporator than that. But that's pretty much what I wanted to point out. The return gas temperature is 65, and so it's good. It's cooling the compressor off. That's what I wanted to point out. Evaporator down to 32 now. Okay. Okay, it's all buttoned up. It's all done. Throwing off heat. Walking cold, it's getting cold. Cold beer again. Well, folks,